Hi guys, it's Allie. In today's video I have a not fun topic, but a very probably needed topic, I guess, on YouTube. And this is going to spill over a little bit into next week. Next week will be different. I'm going to talk about YouTube bullying or internet bullying, I guess. And then today I want to talk about specifically workplace bullying. One of my subscribers sent me an email asking if I would touch on this because someone she knew was dealing with it, and I can't say that I've had any experience with workplace bullies. I think that my personality is such that people wouldn't try that with me. I'm very straightforward and blunt. I've never had to deal with it, so I think that that's why I've never had to deal with it. But my sister, on the other hand, she has had to deal with it before, and we have different personalities, so I can see, the effect that it had on her. Like, I've seen it throughout life. So while I haven't experienced it, I have seen it. And I do have some tips that I think will help with workplace bullying. I hope they will help with workplace bullying. I have my top 5 tips here for you today. So before we jump into the tips, first I want to address, why do people bully at work? Number 1, because you've outshined them. You have outshined them, period. Number 2, they're insecure about themselves. Number 3, they view you as an easy target to pull down in order to uplift themselves. So because that is kind of why people bully, the first 2 tips are gonna sound weird. I'm not gonna lie, they're gonna sound weird. But we want to target the why and how we try to respond to it first. And then if that doesn't work, the last 3 tips will be what to do from there. So the first tip that I have is compliment the bully. Yeah, compliment them. People, like I said, people usually only bully because they're not feeling secure about who they are and what they're doing. So find something positive about them. Find a positive characteristic, or if they do something, at work where they have a success, offer a compliment to them. Just say something positive to them. A bully is lacking confidence, so we want to build their confidence. And not only are you giving them a compliment, helping them build their confidence, but you're also showing strength in yourself. When someone who said something negative to you, when someone who said something to try to bring you down, and you can respond to them in such a way that you're just all about positivity and all about making them feel good about themselves, it shows strength and maturity on your part. I firmly believe that most people are just not inherently bad, and they hurt other people, the cliche, hurt people. But I think that's true. I think that people do inflict negativity upon others because they don't have positivity to shine. So if you can help build that positivity in that person, it really can change not only who they are, but how they feel about themselves, which in turn shows, again, that you're a stronger person, that you're able to withstand the negative things that they have said to you and turn around and offer them something positive. So tip number 1, compliment them. Tip number 2 kind of goes along with tip number 1, and that is ask for the bully's help. I know you're thinking, what is she talking about? Well, let's say maybe that you're working on an Excel document and there's something in the Excel document that okay, this person who bullies me knows a lot about this area. I'm going to invite them over here. I'm going to ask them to help me do this. And guess what? You can already know how to do it yourself, but just ask them for their help. What does that do? It uplifts the bully. It makes them feel like they know something, like they're doing something, like they're strong. It may make them feel like, oh, she's coming to me for help. Oh, yeah, Miss Sunshine, Miss Golden employee is coming to me for help. Internally, they're feeling good about themselves. And it might take you being humble and allowing them to shine to get it through to them that, hey, you have value, you have worth, and there's no need for you to put me down in order for you to shine. You can shine on your own. So not only is it helping them build their confidence, but it's also letting them know that you're aware of what their skills and their talents are. You're aware of the knowledge that they have. And this can eventually help lead you to building a relationship with said bully, which can down the road not only end the bullying that you're going through, but it can also help end it for someone else, because once you've built a certain rapport with that person, when you see them treat someone else that way, you can say, hey, cut it out. That's not what we're about here. You know that you have the ability to do these things. They have the ability to do these things. We work for the same company. We want to use our talents. We want to leverage our resources so that we all are contributing and making the company better. And that can only happen. You can only have that conversation with them if you have a relationship with them. So tips 1 and tips 2 are really about building their confidence, building that person's confidence, so that they're deterred from wanting to put someone else down. So they're deterred from engaging in bullying activities or behaviors. But of course, there are some situations where you are past that point. No relationship is going to be built. They have done everything that you possibly can imagine to make you feel like you're this small, and you're done with it. You're past the point of I want to help you, helping you helps me. You're past that. You're like, nope, I'm about helping me. I feel you. Tip number 3, document everything. Yes, document every experience. You write down what was said, you write down where you were, you write down who was around, write down the date, write down the time, write it all down. When this, if this, and when this ever does get escalated to the point where you have to get someone of authority involved, you want to make sure that you have all of that documentation, because it's going to give credence to what you're saying, and it's going to build the case that you're presenting. And I would also say this will also help with kind of your strategy of dealing with the bully day to day, because after a while, after you've built this documentation of bullied experiences, you can look for patterns in that. You can ask yourself, what was going on around that time? You know, were we working on a high stress project together? Was that person working on a high stress project by themselves? You know, what were the circumstances? Where were we? Are we constantly, you know, meeting in the same places, and that's where the bullying is occurring? Because then you can avoid those places, right? It doesn't answer the other person, but it helps protect you. Look for your way out, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And also, so something that I've noticed is I've asked not to receive praise in front of other people, because I think that it creates an environment of competitiveness. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, the only reason that I work is to pay my bills. I found work that I can reasonably enjoy. I found a field that I reasonably enjoy. But if I had the choice between working and sitting on the beach and reading every day, there's no choice. That's not even a choice. So I don't want the workplace to ever feel like I'm coming into a championship game like every day, because this person is so competitive and everything they do just is dripping with competition. Like, you have to be better than them at this or this or this. Because while you may not want to engage in that, they are building it with your boss. They're showing, oh, well, she can't do that, but I can. She can't do this, but I can. And eventually your boss, whether they mean to or not, they're going to start feeding into it. And they are going to start thinking, well, you know, wow, this person, you know, is doing a lot more than X person or Z person or whatever. And for you, you're like, I'm just here to do my job. But for the boss, it's starting to look like you're slacking just because they want to make it a competitive environment. So for me, I ask to not receive praise in front of other people. If you want to, you know, bring me to your office or send me an email, that's fine. But I ask to not get it in front of other people, because once again, I'm not here to compete with anybody. I'm always trying to be the best that I can be. My parents raised me to work hard and to take pride in what I do. So I do that without being prompted by somebody else. Her being competitive is just adding stress to a situation that doesn't need any stress, because I'm not competing with her. She might think I am, but I'm not. So things like that. If you notice, like, that if your boss says something, then this person starts treating you differently every single time, you know, just have a conversation with your boss. Look for those patterns so that you can find strategies about how you're going to deal with it. Tip number 4 is a hard one. I'm okay with this because it's my personality, but I know different people are different, obviously. But some people don't like confrontation. Some people just run from it. And so this may not be the best tip for you, but tip number 4 that I have is respond with logic and not emotion. So one thing that helps bullies is when you get emotional and you show that they're getting to you. You show that whatever it is that they're doing, it's working. It's starting to crawl under your skin, and you know, you want to snap at them and you want to go off on them. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't let emotion get in there, because once they know that they've gotten under your skin, they won't stop. Ever. They won't stop. So a logical, non-emotional response for me is being sarcastic, or, you know, saying something that basically establishes that you don't bother me at all. Like, no. So let's just use an example. Let's say that you're working on a group project and you're sitting in a conference room and you made an error on something, and this bully says, "Can you do anything right?" My response is, "Oh, no, I can't. I wish I was half as smart as you." Then I always follow it up with a smile. And what that does is it basically just shows them, look, say what you want to. I'm unbothered. It does not bother me at all. I'm moving on. I don't feel insecure because you have something negative to say about me. I don't feel my confidence go down because you have something negative to say about me. Another response could be something, you know, along the lines of killing them with kindness. You guys know how that works. You could say something, you know, in a non-sarcastic tone, totally sarcastic, but a non-sarcastic tone, so that they feel like, was she serious? And so my response would be, in that case, it might be, if they say, "Can you do anything right?" It might be, "No, I think that's why they put me in your group, so you can show me how it's done." That would be so sarcastic in my mind, but I would say it in a tone to where they don't know if I'm serious or not, and they don't know how to respond to that. How do you respond to that? Like, really? It can work a lot of different ways, but a logical and non-emotional response is always the better option, because again, once a bully knows that they've gotten under your skin, they're gonna keep doing it. And the last tip, the 5th tip that I have is, let's say that you can't respond in a non-emotional way, or maybe even that you have and it's still continuing. It's still continuing. This person keeps on saying things. Maybe things are getting worse. Maybe they're getting to where you might think something physical might happen. You know, different situations can happen in different environments. I will speak to that. So from this point, definitely notify someone in authority. I put this as the last tip because this can be very dangerous, because not everyone in a position of authority knows how to handle these types of situations. Some people just think, oh, well, they're just being competitive with each other and she's just, you know, tattletelling on this person because they said something, you know, one day that was out of the way. It can go that way, or it can go the other way where, you know, where they take it really seriously and they say, what's been going on, how long has it been going on, and all of that. So the first thing that you want to do is kind of assess for yourself whether you can trust your supervisor or HR, whoever you choose to go to, whether you can truly trust them. Because again, if the bully is best friends with your boss, probably not a good idea to go to your boss. You know, probably not the best idea. But you might be able to go to someone in HR and they can help you. Or maybe the person in HR is friends with the bully and your boss is, you know, they take their job seriously, so they're not friends with anybody. You know, then you might be able to go to your boss and talk to them about it. But either way, make sure that you kind of trust this person, because it has the potential to really open up a can of worms and go left really fast. So make sure that you're trusting this person. But when you go, you want to make sure that tip 3, documenting everything, make sure that you have your documentation. Make sure that you can back up the claims that you're making. And if you have people who've witnessed it, who've been eyewitnesses, you might even, you know, I don't know, I would be, once again, you want to make sure you trust people if you're going to throw their name out there, because you need for them to be able to vouch that, yes, this happened. If it's a friend of yours and you know that they'll say, yeah, that happened, then you're fine. If it's someone else who may not want to get caught in the middle of it, then again, you need to make sure that you're trusting the person. And if you don't want to go with the actual, like, this is what happened, you should always be able to go to the HR department of your organization and just ask them rhetorically or hypothetically, what are the policies the company has against bullying. What are the procedures that you have? If someone feels like they're being bullied, what should they do? And just ask them generically. You don't have to give them any specifics about what's happened or anything. You can just ask it generically. You can even ask it for a friend. You know, the friend, you can always ask it for a friend, and then just follow the steps that they give you and as their policy. Those are my top 5 tips. I hope this video was helpful. I know that this is a very sensitive topic, and I wanted to do it, but I did struggle with how do I put this together, because I don't want to give tips that can make the situation worse. That's like that's the worst thing, when you think that you're doing something and it's going to make things better and it makes them worse. Like, that's the worst thing. So I did try to think really, really long and hard about this, and I was teetering on the edge of not putting tip number 5 in there, because that tip can go left. You know, telling someone can go left, but ultimately it shouldn't. And I think if you exercise good judgment and do I trust this person, then you will be able to make that determination better. And I would say this as a final tip, a bonus tip, and probably the more important tip: your mental health is the most important thing that you have. Do not stay in a situation where bullying is occurring and you're starting to have wayward thoughts, or you're starting to go home crying every day, stressed every day. Don't stay in that situation. There is no job that loves you enough for you to stay in that situation. So if things are really, really bad and you're feeling like, I don't know how I'm going to get through every day, it's time for you to get on Indeed or Google or Monster and start looking for another job. It's time for you to make a change. And it might require you to not be in the position that you were in before. It might require for you to take a pay cut. It might require for you to lose a lot. But your mental health is ultimately more important than any of the things that you're going to lose. So make sure your mental and emotional health. So make sure that you're taking care of those things above trying to stay in a position because you like your title, trying to stay in a position because you like your pay, trying to stay in a position because you like the people around you. Don't do it. Do what you have to do so that mentally and emotionally you're good every day. That's the most important tip. So next week we're going to talk about cyberbullying, internet bullying, YouTube bullying, all of that fun stuff. And so I hope that you guys will come along for that next week. And then in the latter parts of March, I think I'm going to do an organization encouragement sub-series. Some of you asked about what tips I have for getting organized. So I'm thinking about doing a plan with me for March or something along those lines, and just showing you guys tips and things that I use to get organized. And then I think I'm going to take a hiatus from this series because I haven't really gotten a lot of requests, and I'm running out of topics to talk about, quite frankly. So I might take a little, 3-month hiatus from this and replace it with something else. We'll see. But in any case, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for staying to the end, and I will see you guys in the next video very soon.